Donald Trump has secured a major victory in Illinois. A judge has denied Illinois' request to block the deployment of National Guard, so they will be descending on the streets to keep this city safe. And I am all for it. My friends, liberals live in a world where everything is the movies. Everything's movies. I got this photo from Katie Davis Court, and this liberal guy, I think he works for Newsom, is just like,
Looks like every war zone I've ever seen.
that's because he's never seen a war zone. So I got some photos and video for you of a total government collapse. So what we are seeing in Chicago is beyond insurrection. What we are seeing in Portland, beyond insurrection. And so I am completely in favor of the National Guard being deployed into Chicago as someone who grew up there, who knows about its problems, and is currently witnessing what is happening, not just in the media, but from people I know telling me what's going on. Now more than ever, Chicago needs federal law enforcement and National Guard. And you know what? They're only going to show you, and this is the challenge that we face as humans, the negativity. You know what you don't see? You don't see people protesting in support of ICE, in support of CBP, in support of the National Guard, because they don't need to protest. Trump is winning. He's deploying. So they sit in their homes and they say, this is great. In D.C., Trump sends out the National Guard, and what happens? Crime drops precipitously. Here's the current report from ABC 7. There's actually a live press conference going on as I'm recording this. Chicago could see Illinois and Texas National Guard troops patrol the area as soon as Sunday. Patrol the area? What do you mean? A judge denied a request from the state of Illinois for a temporary restraining order to stop the Texas National Guard members from coming to Chicago. A hearing was scheduled for later this week regarding the request, but by then, National Guard troops may already be on the streets. The Department of Justice said Illinois National Guard troops could report for duty as soon as Tuesday. Texas troops deployed on Monday, according to a photo shared by Governor Greg Abbott. However, it's not clear where they're headed. Pritzker and local leaders denounced the plan. Federal authorities also said they would send in possibly hundreds of troops from Texas. And I say, let's go. Check out this video clip. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Eric Doherty. He says, breaking, AG Pam Bondi unleashes on Senator Dick Durbin. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. Let's go. Maybe. I'm clicking it. It's not playing. Here we go. Not Will.
The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Let's go. Because they won't. Everybody I knew growing up hated Dick Durbin. And that's like the funniest thing. I'm from Chicago. I'm from a liberal area. And everybody made fun of Durbin all the time. There was a, I'll try to keep it family friendly, so I'll use innuendo on this one. But because of his name, Dick Durbin, it turned into a slang term, to derb. I think you can probably figure out what that means because it turns into the derbying in the act of doing it. So I wonder what that means. Anyway, I digress. Everybody I knew hated the guy. And I'm always another thing, like, I don't understand these people keep getting elected. Every day, lies, corruption, jail sentences. You got this video, there's aldermen. They're like neighborhood politicians getting arrested because, she comes into this room and she's demanding a warrant and the ICE guys are like, we have one. Like, do you have a judicial warrant? And it's like, shut up with your stupid made up garbage. They're like, there's warrants. And then what? This is the game they're playing. Now there's a point. Immigration courts are the executive branch, but this is the law. They have the authority to issue warrants through these courts. They're federal courts. And so they're using I want a different warrant. Shut up. Okay. Y'all vote for your reps. Y'all pass these laws. This is what happens. Send in the troops. Let's go. Take a look at this photo. Katie Davis Court on the roof of the ICE building in Portland. And she's smiling. And then you get this Brandon Richards guy. Rapid response for Gavin Newsom. Him. He says, wow, Looks like every war-torn place I've seen. Congrats, Katie. Your smiling glam shot is the most accurate reporting you've done. I'd like to explain to all of you, and I please share this video with, well, I don't know. I mean, I suppose the intro to the video may dissuade any liberals, but I don't know if there's actually a point to try to debate these people anyway. But I'd like to point something out to all of you. It actually does look like a war zone. It does, or war torn, because some areas have conflict and some don't. Now, in every war, it's targeting certain areas. So these liberals live in movies, and the problem is they vote based on movies. We should ban suppressors because they go pew pew pew. Anybody who's ever shot a gun knows putting a suppressor, not a silencer, on a weapon certainly does not make it go pew pew pew. In fact, it's still really loud. It's really loud, but it suppresses the sound and makes it safer to use. So everybody should have them. It should be standard on every weapon, right? Well, not necessarily. I think there's some energy loss with it, but whatever. Democrats watch movies and they're like, whoa, they put the silencer on the gun, and it goes pew pew pew. Yeah, that's not. It's not real, but, you know, if you were a liberal, that's what you think. Hey, I've got, here's the post from Katie Davis Court. Here's the photo. I want to just show you this photo for a quick second. I want to build the suspense, but I want you to take a look at it. This is Portland. There are riots at Portland. They are targeting an ICE facility. It's a protest and it's a riot. The protests are when people are just standing around, and sure, fine. The riots are when they start attacking law enforcement. Here's a photo for you. Let me zoom in because these are old photos. This is one of my photos from my photo album from, this is from the revolution in Egypt. Let me, Egypt Revolution 2013. Let's see if I can pull this one up. The coup d'etat. Wow, they're calling it a coup d'etat. I guess that's correct because the military came and took it all over, but that's where the photo is from. Hey, take a look at this photo they're showing you. First of all, this is a photo from Wikipedia of a revolution, a coup d'etat. The military came in and ousted the duly elected government. Look at all the people standing around. There's no violence. There's no bombs. It's just a bunch of tents. Looks more like a party, right? It took place July 3rd, 2013. Egyptian Army Chief General El-Sisi led a coalition to remove the democratically elected president of Egypt, Mohamed Morsi, from power and suspended the Egyptian constitution of 2012. Now, when they show you this photo, this is a photo of, is this Nasser City? The area around the Rabah Adawiya Mosque had been packed with Muslim Brotherhood supporters sleeping in tents. Even this photo, which is of one of the large protest areas, Muslim Brotherhood, doesn't show violence, bombs, war-torn buildings. And this was a revolution. I don't know if they have any other photos in here. Just people. Here's a guy holding a sign. Here's a photo of people and supporters just standing around, right? And you may be saying, well, Tim, in Katie Davis Court's photos, there's nobody just standing around. This is from my balcony. This is to the left of Tahrir Square. What does it look like? Well, to be completely honest, nobody would notice a gosh darn thing, right? Hey, I got more. Here's a literal photo of the hotel, the Hilton, which is walking distance, a couple blocks from Tahrir. You can see there's a spattering of people here. But if I were to show this photo to the average person, they'd say, what is this? It's Egypt? Oh. Now, what if I were to, if you were to tell somebody, I want you to imagine an image of a government's revolution, people protesting in the streets, the government pulled from power by the military. What would that look like? Would you be at all surprised if it looked like this? Because that's literally what it looked like. Here you go. Let me play this video for you. This is literally a video of a revolution. Looks like every war-torn place I've seen. You cookie dough liberal. You guys live in a crackpot reality. Now, you can see there's a large spattering of people in Tahrir Square. Fair point. But I'm going to play it again for you. Cars are driving, going about their business. Buildings look perfectly fine. Take a look at this still. Ah, the Nile River. How beautiful. There's a bridge going across it with some boats. People are going about their business. And my, oh my, you wouldn't really notice a whole lot of much of anything, would you? This is a video from quite literally the revolution. I was on the ground reporting for Vice. I have tons more videos just like this. These are just the ones that I decided to upload. I also have photos and videos from Turkey when they were protesting in, was it Gezi Park? And there were tear gas canisters all over the ground. You had to kick them out of your way because if you tried stepping over, you would probably slip on them. That's how much tear gas was there. Liberals live in movies. They don't realize that this is a revolution. And so fine, war torn. No, I meant Syria. Even in Syria, you blowhard cookie dough liberals. One of the stories that we were pursuing at Vice, and you know, I got to show you that. Here you go. Here's a photo. One of the stories we're pursuing was that during the Syrian civil war in 2014, so it kicked off years before, they were advertising for tourism in Damascus. So I pitched to Vice, can I get into Damascus and party? And everyone thought it was a great idea. And then there was like a gas attack, sarin, and they were like, maybe you shouldn't do it. And I said, yeah, I kind of agree. The concerns were really that as an American journalist, even if we contacted the tourism department, they wouldn't really trust us. But the idea was this. We really just wanted to eat crumpets, cinnamon buns, drink delicious, I don't know what they drink in Syria, booze of some sort. Actually, they probably don't drink any booze. It's Islamic. But we wanted to party. They had nightclubs. We wanted to go out on the boats. And we wanted to make the point to the American people. Even in a civil war, even in war, life goes on. And they maintained their tourism division I don't think they ever shut it down. Viral stories in 2018-19 showing these commercials of Syrian nightlife. Despite the fact there are shellings, this is Aleppo completely razed. Life goes on. In Tartus, everything was, I think, has been fine for the most part. You know, Assad did finally flee. But Tartus was under Russian protection. So you'd go to the grocery store. You'd buy a candy bar. You'd go and watch soccer. You'd get a sandwich. Life goes on. These liberals who live in movies think that a war-torn area just needs to be bombed out buildings everywhere. And that is wrong. And it's another reason why I wanted to highlight this, because I want you to understand how dangerous the times we are in are. When I talk about civil war, it is, I don't know, annoying. Everybody, even conservatives, say, I go outside and I don't see anything. I was on the Trigonometry podcast. I said the same thing. And I'm like, guys, have you ever stopped to just think for 3 seconds? In 1862, civil war raging across the United States. People in Atlanta didn't walk out of their homes and look at their neighbor and go, ooh, I'm going to fight you. You walked outside and life was normal. The fighting was in other places. Most people never saw fighting. Some did. So when you walk outside your home and you're looking at a guy buying McDonald's and you're like, there's no war. Look at this photo. Watch this video. This video, quite literally, is from the day they ousted the sitting president and the military took over. And it's just me filming, doing a panning shot from the balcony of the Hilton on the 26th floor. And there's Tahrir Square. Why, oh, why? Did the government collapse? Nothing is happening. There's no bombs going off, no people running through the streets. But the government got pulled, their authority destroyed, and the duly elected government removed. So right now, when you go outside and you're like, everything looks normal, I find it fascinating. The only thing that's ever changed government or any organizational institution system is a small group of dedicated men. I mean man in general. I don't mean literally just men. Ladies, sometimes you're involved too. The point is this. When you look out your window and everything seems fine, you are not looking at what is currently happening. When people tell me the internet is not real life, you can ignore it. You cannot. When we see 300 people outside of a federal building firebombing it, that is not necessarily the same as Egypt with 3,000 people in Tahrir Square. But what happens when we get 3,000 people in Washington, D.C.? And it's a sustained, never-ending riot that goes on for weeks or a month. And then finally, someone says, enough. In true civil war fashion or coup d'etat or revolution, one thing need only happen. And it says Matt Taibbi described it several years ago. Two cars are speeding towards a police station in D.C. Men jump out of each car, run up to the front of the police station, and point at each other and say, "Arrest that man." And then the police have to decide, who do they arrest? In the instance of Egypt, Sisi just said, okay, this is not working. We're taking over. And then they massacred the Muslim Brotherhood. But I don't understand. Everything looks normal. I went shopping in Heliopolis. I went to the mall and I bought kebab. In front of the hotel, there was a man, there's a McDonald's right here. If you like right straight down, if you look down, he was watching football. International football, not American football. And he was eating a cheeseburger. One of the funniest things in the breakfast buffet, the bacon, it was beef bacon because you can't eat pork. And they had a casino in the Hilton, no joke. And it said, there was a sign on it saying, if you were Muslim, you can't come in. And so I went in, walked around, checked out the casino. People were playing blackjack. And this is just the craziest thing. There were people in Egypt on business. They didn't care about the revolution. They were literally playing blackjack. International guys. When the military finally swept in and started locking down the bridges, we didn't want to get trapped. So we said, okay, move now. Grabbed our stuff, bolted. We did not want to get trapped. And it was the right move. When we get to the airport, there was a guy flying out with us. And I can't remember which connecting airport. I think we went to London or something. And there was like a European guy. I think it might have been American. And we were talking. And then it's like here's a guy with a accent, we understand, like he speaks our language. And so then we started talking. I forgot how it started. And he just said, well, I was just here for business. And then he's like, I'm going to fly, back to London or something. And we were like, did you hear about the bridges getting shut down and what's going on? He's like, no, I didn't know that. And we were like, yeah, so we're journalists. We're leaving for this reason. He's like, oh, wow. He's like, oh, I'll probably be back soon. He didn't care. He didn't know or care. Life goes on. Final thing I'm going to say that I want you guys to consider. The entire government of Egypt collapsed and was replaced overnight. And this is what it looked like. The only political turmoil you saw was this one small group in Tahrir Square and one small group in Nasser City. That's where the Muslim Brotherhood was. But for the most part, everywhere else was normal. Food shipments were coming and going. People were going and tourists were going to the pyramids and all of that stuff, getting on a boat. We went to like a riverside little cafe and had some Cokes, a little Coca-Cola. Sat there and sipped on it and talked about politics in the country. So right now, most of the people in the United States look out their window, go to their city center, and nothing's happening. That never mattered. Gradually, then suddenly. I'll leave it there, my friends. Smash the like button, share the show. Stay tuned. More coming, and we'll see you all later tonight. I am out for the week with guest hosts. I think Matt Gaetz is guest hosting Timcast IRL tonight. Oh, boy. It's going to be fun. And I'll wrap it up there. We'll see y'all next time.